Hi gang, Rob here. It is the afternoon of 12 February 2017, coming to you with a From the Sharpening Bench video. This knife belongs to my customer, Joe. And man, I'm sorry, Joe, I finished this knife, I think, on Thursday and didn't put it in the mail because I wanted to do this video. So my apologies, and you now have a knife that is a YouTube star. What we're looking at today is the SpydieChef from Spyderco. This is, I think, the third knife designed for Spyderco by Marcin Swish, father of the Techno and the Swish Bowie. The SpydieChef, it looks like a Marcin Swish knife, doesn't it? Although its aesthetics are a little different. So what do we got here, guys? We have time-honored, tried and true, much respected construction from the plant for Spyderco in Taichung, Taiwan. There's Mr. Swish's logo, maker's mark. What do we have? We have a rather coarse satin, full flat ground blade in a, I'm not going to say it looks like a chef's knife profile. It sort of does. If you kind of don't consider the handle and you just look at it from here forward, I guess that's what you see. Interesting. The knife steel is LC200N. Now, a rather new steel in the knife application. It has been tested and used in ball bearings as a replacement for 52100. It is more corrosion resistant. Gosh, I think about 15% chromium, only 0.3% carbon, and 0.5% of nitrogen. So the nitrogen and chromium, I guess, give it its hardenability. Virtually rust-free, very much like H1. This steel we might see making its way into the Salt series for Spyderco. And if this knife is designed as a folding food prep knife, that corrosion protection is a good thing. It is a steel that uses sort of a micro melt technology, which makes it a fine grained structure and very homogeneous in structure. It seems to take a pretty fine edge. As I said, this is a From the Sharpening Bench video, and this one has been sharpened. Whoops. It takes a pretty good edge. I wouldn't say it's like, not like ZDP fine or CPM M4 fine, but I think it takes a better edge maybe than S30V. Maybe not quite as good as S35. Just it's good. How long it holds that edge, I don't know. Geometry of the blade, we start from about 113 14 thousandths thick at the spine with some distal taper and of course very gradual taper down to a super skinny dimension behind the edge. Notice the width of my 15-degree secondary bevel, not very wide, is it? That means it's very skinny. Definitely made for slicing. Moving back to the pivot, we have standard Spyderco loveliness. Two very flat, very smooth, very supportive phosphor bronze washers with an adjustable pivot. Not reinventing the wheel here. It's not a tactical knife. It's really not even a knife that flicks open very easy with the thumb. The Spydie hole is a great distance from the pivot, so it definitely wants to move outward, not forward. And if you try to go forward, this piece of the frame kind of gets in the way. So you know, it is a folding kitchen knife, I guess. Certainly not a tactical blade. Blade length on this thing is almost 3 3/8 inches. Although the cutting edge, even if you measure it in a straight line from the heel to the tip, it's 3.5. And the reason being, if I measure the blade length from this farthest forward point of the handle to the tip, That's not quite 3 3/8, but if you sort of look at it this way, see where the cutting edge starts? Behind this point. So if I measure from heel to tip, it's 3 1/2. Generally, I am not a fan of cutting edges that start under the front of the handle, because where's that material? Where's the material you're cutting going to go? It's going to go into the handle. The last thing you want on a folding knife is to have, especially food, running up into the junction between your handle and your blade, causing problems in your pivot. However, when I look at this knife and I think of the attitude in which I'm going to use it while slicing food, I don't know. I still wouldn't probably use this last ½ inch of the blade. Why this point needed to be here is kind of beyond me. I would have probably come straight up this way with it. You wouldn't lose any structure or strength in the knife. Just kind of a little oddity. I'm not sure why Marcin designed that way. The knife works great. Centering's perfect. The main thing on a knife like this for me would be, how is it ergonomically in its desired application? It is a SpydieChef. It's a folding food knife. I'm going to hold on to it with my left hand. And for me, if I'm cutting up food, I'm usually in this overhand pinch grip. So if we kind of look at where that puts the blade, even with it resting on this knuckle on my surface, I can still get the knife to touch here, clear back by the hole. So I've got tons of rockability without getting my knuckles or the finger guard in the way. That's good. I think it really, other than the kind of funny, the way the handle overlaps the cutting edge, I think for food prep it's going to be a really nice knife. Could you peel with it in this conventional sort of saber grip? Yeah, you could. How about as a paring knife? How would it do? That's really quite comfortable. Quite comfortable. Notice how all 4 of my fingers are supporting the knife in that paring knife grip. Pretty good. Not bad at all. As an EDC blade, do I like it? I'm not sure I really love where the point is. If I kind of look down the axis of the knife, from pivot to the center point of the butt, that tip is quite a ways above center line of the knife. In fact, it's a long way above the center line. If you sort of imagine were the spine not shaped like it is and it has more of a conventional spine profile, that'd be a heck of a trailing point, wouldn't it? I mean, if we take this flat, not the front one and not the back one, but just this middle flat, and we sort of draw a line straight, that point trails by a lot. So if that spine carried from there, boy, that thing would be like a sharp finger, wouldn't it? Interesting. I can't really decide if this is a super functional design that I just haven't seen before because it hasn't been done, or whether it hasn't been done for a reason. I don't know. I'd have to really use this in the kitchen for a while to develop a better long-term opinion of it. Just for me, if I think food items that I'm chopping, celery, onions, things like that, on a cutting board, I really kind of like it. I like the way the knife sits in my hand. Using it to break down boxes and open mail, normal EDC type stuff, not so much. So let's kind of look at fit and finish. And Spyderco has done nothing it didn't need to, and everything that makes sense. It's got. I don't know if this titanium is coated in some way and then blasted and stonewashed, but it has a very velvet-like finish and enough figuring from the stone wash that it's going to hide scratches very well. This finish always seems to be very durable. Spyderco does it on a lot of their knives. It does not have that that polished stone wash that the Swiss Bowie has, and it doesn't have the stone wash blade that the Swiss Bowie has. Although construction of the two knives is nearly identical, but those two finish elements make the Swiss Bowie a lot more expensive knife. I think these knives are about $200. And you guys check my pricing. I did not look before the video. That just seems to ring a bell. So, you know, maybe 70% of the price of a Swiss Bowie. Probably not a knife I'm going to go out and buy, even though I'm sort of a Spyderco guy. I just don't dig it aesthetically, although I see the function in a culinary application. And it's not a knife that loves to be opened with the left thumb. The hole is considerably occluded by the lock bar. Not as bad as a Swiss Bowie, which I can't even open with my left thumb. That's not horrible. And it does middle finger flick well with the left hand. Probably difficult to middle finger flick it with the right hand. Let's see. Again, that you can get it. That occluded hole creates some problems, though. Yeah, with practice, it can be done. I have a couple friends that own these, and here's sort of the book on these knives. If you can live with it for, and this is from two friends that own these, that gave me almost the same long-term report. If you can make yourself carry it and use it for a few days before you decide to sell it, you sort of fall in love with it. It's sort of a knife that doesn't just fall into your hand and make you think, oh my, that's knife nirvana. But it is a knife that after using it and your muscle memory getting to know it for a few days, it seems to be a knife that grows on people. It is certainly well made. It certainly functions well as designed. And who knows about this steel? We'll find out, I guess. I don't think Spyderco would be using it if it didn't test well. And it does have normal swish clip configuration. It is tip up, right or left hand. And it can be a lefty knife, unlike the Swiss Bowie, which has no thumb ability in the left hand. The SpydieChef does. I wonder if I can flick it. Yeah. Boy, it'd be nice to have a little relief there in that lock bar, though. There are absolutely no construction or fit and finish negatives about this knife. A couple functional ones just by hole occlusion, depending on your opening style and which hand you're using. And if it's a folding kitchen knife, I don't really see any design issues. As an EDC, probably not for me. That's all for this one, guys. I'm going to box this up and send it off to Joe tomorrow. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And remember, the Word and Joe's SpydieChef are sharp.